you? So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the JALT 2020 online conference, and the we are. My name is Wayne Malcolm. I'm the Director of Program for JALT, kind of the coordinator of the conference. And joining me for this talk is
Louise Ohashi. I'm one of the conference co-chairs along with Mizuka Tsukamoto. And I've been working with Wayne and Mizuka and the rest of the team to try to make sure that JALT 2020 goes ahead.
Great. Yes. So we're just going to be kind of talking about a few topics related to the conference, and hopefully in this video we'll have a little overview of the conference and what's happening, and then this will hopefully set the tone. We hope this sets the tone for what we will be talking about in future videos, more specific things for the conference. So, all right, Louise, let's, what do we have on our agenda today?
Okay, well, let's kick off with some background about the theme. We came up with the theme of communities of teachers and learners before the COVID outbreak. And at the time, we were thinking how important it is to strengthen our professional communities and to help learners strengthen their communities. And we thought that the JALT 2020 conference could be used as a platform for us to do this as educators, as publishers, as graduate students, people from all different parts of the language education system. And so now, when we've all been pulled physically apart, it's more important than ever, I think, for us to be able to come together online and strengthen our professional communities and learn more about how we can help students to strengthen their learning communities. So I think it's a timely theme that we could have had no idea would become quite so timely.
Yeah, it's very interesting how the theme has kind of, or the meaning behind the theme in a way has kind of morphed, but at the core it's still the same, right? It's still all about community, because regardless if you're online or you're face-to-face, you do kind of need this community in order to really develop professionally as a teacher, as well as academically as a learner. And then just in general, socially, we see how important community really is on so many levels.
Right. Well, we hear the term social distancing quite a lot lately since the pandemic has spread. But I think it's important for us to remember that while we are socially apart, physically apart in that sense, I think we are socially close. We can bridge that gap. So the social distancing isn't a physical, is just a physical thing, that we can be very much socially together in spaces like the one that we're hoping to create at JALT 2020.
Yeah, and well, that's a great segue into briefly talking about the next thing is the online format, but also the kind of some of the general things that will be coming up for the conference. So, what are we looking at for this JALT 2020 online extravaganza?
Extravaganza is a great word, because there are we've gone ahead and organized for hundreds of sessions to go on. The initial kind of panicked response when we were thinking about putting it online was to downscale. And I'm still not sure if that was the best decision or not. And that, we've gone in a direction that that will show us we've bitten off more than we can chew. But we're going to do our best to forge on and keep these sessions that we would normally have run in our face-to-face conference, to keep them available in the virtual spaces that we are providing through Zoom, through YouTube, through some static pages where, for example, posters will be uploaded and comments can be exchanged through webinars and those kinds of things. So we want to create opportunities for presenters to interact with others, for workshops to still be available for people to be able to participate rather than just watch. And we want to create some social spaces, like a room that people, you know, at a conference, generally you would go and sit in the lobby and chat with
Yeah.
some people. So we want to have a virtual lobby, for example, to bring people together in that way as well.
Yeah, that's going to be something that I know as director of program, when I was thinking about how are we going to get this online, and a lot of the talk was, yeah, there was some, let's downscale, let's streamline. But then when it came out with all the presentations, the hundreds of presentations that we were vetting and approving and looking at, we quickly realized that this is a full conference experience online, like a full conference experience. We're not really, there's no cutting of presentations or sessions or
Well, in
everything
fact,
is basically just tweaked for being online.
well, we increased it, didn't we? Because we opened a
Yes,
second call for the emergency remote teaching and learning sessions.
that's right. That's right.
Because we wanted to provide opportunities to have discussions and hear about research that was really relevant to how teaching and learning has changed this year due to the COVID pandemic.
That's right. That's right. I mean, if you just take a, you know, as a language teacher and learner in some respects as well, my minute study of Japanese comes into play. You just go to Facebook and see all the different Facebook groups that have popped up because, you know, within this, you know, coronavirus environment, pandemic environment, and you see that there's so much happening that a conference that like ours really was positioned, being in November, was really kind of positioned to give a platform to this you know, emergency remote teaching and learning field that's there, because we all hope that pandemics don't become a regular order, but you know, you never know. Things happen, so we might be thrust into this again. So having a section in the conference that actually speaks to this is it was something that was almost a no-brainer for, you know, for a lot of people.
Right, right. And we also wanted to continue on with the regular sessions that we offer. So the forums that are put on by our special interest groups, the sessions by teachers of young learners in our JALT Junior part of the conference, and the wonderful work by graduate students in the Graduate Student Showcase.
Yeah.
And I think one of the wonderful things about this year is that we'll be recording Zoom sessions, and that will mean that these presentations will be able to be accessed beyond the conference and reach more people. So I think this year, tech hasn't just been thrust upon us in our teaching environments, but also in our professional communities. And this year we are going to explore that a little bit more and see what it can do to strengthen our communities even further.
Yeah, and one of the really interesting and really kind of cool outgrowths of this, one of the ramifications, positive ramifications actually, is that we're in real time going to be building this library of resources.
Right.
You know, I saw it at I was at the TESOL conference that was virtual. And for people who went to the TESOL conference, you were able to access the full range of the conference 60 days after, for 60 days after the conference ended. Now in our situation, we're going to be recording all these Zoom sessions and kind of building this library of resources, so workshops and stuff like that, eventually we can make public. You know, we can share and kind of build that community. And you know, and in a face-to-face situation, it's much harder to do that.
Right.
Much harder to do that. So this kind of affords us that opportunity to do something that's on a mass scale, collect all this stuff on a mass scale, and then process it as we need to. Whereas with very little expense. Whereas in a face-to-face situation, you'd have to spend money on recorders and tapes and all these things. So
Well, it ties into in that respect, it ties into the theme from a couple of years ago, back when I was the director of program, which was inclusion and diversity, or maybe we said it the other way around.
Yeah, diversity and inclusion.
But, you know, at the time we were thinking, how can we get people involved who wouldn't normally be involved? And ideas we were looking into at the time were how we could use technology to take the conference to people who couldn't be there. And we did start streaming that year and making recordings available on a limited basis. But this year it's going to go through the roof. And I think that's opening up the conference to more people.
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
For me, that's a win. So I would never have chosen to be stuck in this pandemic. But if we want to look at the silver lining, we can say that it's pushed us to do things that we could have done in the past, but we were never pushed hard enough to do. And now we're taking steps in that direction. The EME, the Educational Materials Exhibition. And this year, obviously, we won't have a physical space where you can go and look at all of the books. But we are planning a way for there to be a virtual EME, so that you still have a way to find out about what our sponsors are doing, what kind of products they're making, what kind of adaptations they're making. So we're looking into
a lot of them are doing that. A lot of them are doing adaptations that are really, really kind of cool.
Right. So we're looking at ways that we can help you interact with them online as well, so that that exhibition doesn't disappear. I mean, we want to bring what we had at our conference as much as possible to the JALT 2020 conference that we're putting on online.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So those are some really kind of broad overview highlights. Now, again, in the future, we're going to be breaking down some of these things, and you'll see separate videos. So we're definitely going to be breaking these things down for those who are watching. We'll be breaking some of these things down and talking more specifically about them. And you'll probably see, you'll be seeing different faces of volunteers and people who are the kind of coordinators and stuff like that of these different areas, but you're probably seeing different people as well. So you'll see a few people from our conference team.
Yeah, but there'll also be many people you don't see, because we really have dozens and dozens and dozens. I mean, for the room hosts that we're recruiting to help us to make sure the Zoom sessions run well. About 75 of those at the moment. And of course, we have people doing all of the other roles, the scheduling. We have the reading committee that went through all of the abstracts. We have so many important roles for people to bring this conference to, and on behalf of all of them, we want to thank you for thinking of coming.
Thank you really isn't enough. It's just, it's like a blessing to work with so many skilled and talented people that make the conference.
Right. So I want to thank all the viewers out there who are thinking of coming to this this conference that we're trying to put on, but also to thank all of those volunteers for the time and the energy and the love they've put into this. It's just been phenomenal to watch.
Yes, the hours and hours and hours, days, months of dealing with
and the stress, because obviously we're dealing with unknown terrain, and it's been very challenging. But having a fabulous team to work with makes a world of difference.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I concur.
So you know a little bit about our conference now. Shall we mention registration, Wayne?
Yeah, actually, just before that, let's just I wanted to give just maybe a little brief overview of the week that we're going to be kind of going through.
Oh yeah, do that.
Because as you mentioned before, downscale was sort of in the conference, and then we quickly moved to, hey, let's make it a week and kind of scale it out a little bit more. So the conference this year is going to be running from, she takes off her glasses. Yes,
I still look back and wonder how we came to that.
So the conference this year will be running from Monday to Monday. So Monday, November 16th to Monday, November 23rd. And just briefly, just kind of going over that. Yeah, so the first Monday to Thursday, we're mostly those days, it's not going to be full days of like full sessions. It's going to be maybe a few SIG sessions, SIG meetings, as well as maybe some officer meetings. So those people who are interested and really want to look at, wow, what does this SIG meeting, like what does a SIG do? Or what do officer meeting, like what does an officer do for, what does like the chapter treasurer do? Well, those meetings are going to be on those days. So you'll be able to see what's happening, and those will be open. You register and those will be open. Everything, and we'll talk about this in a second of registration, all that will be included in the fee. So you'll be able to see all these meetings, no problem. And then
It's
also,
a great chance to, if you're thinking about volunteering, it's a great
yeah,
chance to go to those meetings and
yeah,
find out more about how you can become involved.
yeah, exactly. So, and in general, those meetings are chaired by people from the board of directors, or who kind of oversee the different areas of JALT, those meetings. So you'll get to meet those people as well
Yeah.
as a bunch of volunteers who are the officers who do spend their time volunteering for JALT. That's another level of volunteering, not just a conference, but these people actually make JALT run year round, because they're the officers at the local level, who keep us informed and do these various,
And
things.
we're always looking to welcome, more people.
Yes, definitely. There's always room in JALTs for people willing to give up their time,
Yeah.
willing to volunteer their time.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's basically through Thursday. Friday is going to be our technology and teaching and professional development workshops, which have been kind of a staple for our Friday afternoon. We got some really good presentations there that we'll be looking at. So that's going to be Friday. And then, of course, Saturday, Sunday, Monday will be the kind of the big show, so to speak, because that's where the majority of presentations and plenaries and all the different aspects of the JALT conference that we've come
Right.
to
Right.
really get showcased.
Yeah. So November 16th to 23rd.
Yes. So November 16th to 23rd, there's something for everybody. There's always something
Yeah.
happening. Always something
And
happening.
and if it's your first time, you can drop into the orientation session. Maybe
Yeah.
you haven't been to an online conference before. I'll be running that with my co-chair, Mizuka Tsukamoto. Her and I will do that together. And we will help you to maybe meet some other people, attend some sessions together. I got that idea originally when I went to COTESL years ago, and they had an orientation session at their on-site event, and it was really wonderful to go there and find out the the basic structure of the conference and how to make the most out of it, and to also meet some other people who I would run into in other sessions later. So we adopted that into JALT after I got back from COTESL, and now we're bringing it to the virtual world.
Wow, that sounds great. Yeah, and that'll be part of, again, there's so much going on because we're basically taking our face-to-face conference and as much as possible, putting it online and making it as interactive as
Right.
possible and open to as many people as we can get, who, yeah, want to be a part, who can be a part of the experience, which basically, which then segues into this, our registration.
Right. Yeah, we've really scaled things down this year, because we don't have a lot of the overheads that we would have at the physical site, but we still have overheads that we need to cover. And we've been able to come up with a fee structure that ranges between 2,000 and 8,000 yen. So convert that to your local currency. I'm not sure what that is in the part of the world that you're watching this from, but you can find out more details on our website. We'll add the website in the link to the video so you can find out more information.
Yeah, because yeah, and it's yeah, and one thing with the registration this year is that it's really one price for everything, whereas in the past it's again, because the overhead's a little lower, there's not a lot of moving parts, physical moving parts in a way, because we're not dealing with physical space and stuff. But yeah, so we've decided to make the pricing structure a bit more streamlined. So once you pay, you
Right.
have access to you have access to the full week from Monday to Monday. The six.
Right, exactly. Well, the technology and teaching and professional development
Yeah.
sessions used to have a separate price, and they're included. And JALT Junior used to be separate with restrictions on what you could see, but that's not happening anymore. You can go to anything. And we've tried to offer discounts to make it accessible. For example, students and seniors are in the lowest price bracket. So check and see what price range is applicable for your circumstances.
Yeah, yeah. So we really try to make it as flexible as possible, um, while also, but of course, obviously things like Zoom rooms and things like that are not absolutely free for us. So so there is a little overhead, but yeah, but we hope it's accessible for as many people that can
Yeah,
get on as possible.
yeah. So here um, here in Japan, the JALT 2020 team has built it. And the question is, will you come? We certainly hope you will.
Yeah, we definitely hope you will.
I heard in a movie
We're
once,
nice
if you build
people.
it, they will come.
We're nice people. We don't bite. We invite everyone to come in. We're a very jovial and cordial group of people.
Yeah. Bring your ideas.
Yeah.
Bring
Um, so, yeah. So in that, yeah. Have any last few words? Maybe we can sign off and let people go explore the JALT 2020 website and JALT.org in general. All the information goes through there.
Yeah.
Any last words, Louise?
Well, just to end by saying we are physically distant, but please be socially present. Come and join us.
Okay, cool. And like I said before, we'll be looking to do more videos. So wherever you're watching this video, whether it's you saw this on Facebook or directly from our YouTube or however you came to see this video, yeah, keep checking back because there will be more. And we hope to see you eventually at JALT 2020. Thank you
Right.
very
And
much.
if there's a type of video you want, put a note in the comments. We'll
Yes,
see what
that's
we
great.
can
That's yeah, good idea. Yes. Yeah, you could probably address that. Very good. All
do.
right.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.